In today's MLB recap, the rookie phenom Paul Skeens struck out 6 as his offense put up 10 runs. But the Pirates may or may not have epically imploded. Shohei Ohtani and his dog Decoy threw out the first pitch right before Ohtani hit another home run and stole another base. The Giants, to a lot of fans' surprise, they just put multiple players on waivers. I don't know if they're giving up, but it kind of feels like it. Yordan Alvarez, he just popped off for his third career 3-home run game, and I think that this is it. The play of the year just happened down on the south side. Wait until you see how that game ended. Don't forget, everyone, Recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. And before we get into the highlights, be sure to download Underdog Fantasy using my code Fuzzy. Brand new users and even existing customers right now get this free Travis Kelce pick'em before the first game of the NFL season. And if you use my code Fuzzy, they'll give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash credit. All right, let's get into the games from yesterday. The San Diego Padres defense was flying around in the first half of this game, and it didn't matter if it was an infielder or an outfielder. Everyone wanted to be in today's recap. Kyle Higashioka, he wanted some shine as well. He tied it up with a solo home run in the 8th inning, and it's kind of crazy that he has 16 home runs and an almost 120 OPS plus, but his defense has absolutely eroded. He's actually been pretty awful this year defensively, but for the second time this week, Nolan Arenado, he wins it for the Redbirds. His bat speeds have gone up every single month the last 3 months, so it seems like Nolan Arenado might finally be fully healthy. Oh, you thought that was fun? Wait until you see how Game 2 of this Rangers and White Sox doubleheader ended. Game 1 was as easy as it gets because I don't know how the White Sox front office expects fans to show up and support this team going forward. They're the worst team ever, and I'm not even sugarcoating. The bottom of the barrel, the worst of the worst. Garrett, I mean, he only lasted 4 pitches because they thought it was a good idea to play this game. That's the first time ever a game was delayed with 0 outs. So they did suspend it. Garrett's start was completely wasted, and you just saw Adolis Garcia lace an RBI double down the left field line, skipping to the 7th. I know I'm skipping a lot, but Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, they won it after Chicago. They did manage to tie it, but again, Semien and Seager, they win it as Kirby Yates, he's been amazing this year. 24 saves, a 1.25 ERA. I know that Emmanuel Clase trade hurts, but Yates has been him. On to game number 2. The White Sox defense crumbled right from underneath them. So Wyatt Langford, he had multiple base runners on, so this is a 3-run home run. He only has 8 home runs and 53 RBIs, which is decent, but for a rookie phenom, we thought that he was going to have an insane 2024. He was picked 4th overall. Still been good, but not as explosive as we thought he was going to be. Now, credit to the White Sox. They did come back to tie it at 3. It's just, you know, they're the 2024 White Sox, mind you. Right before the Rangers retook their lead, Lenyn Sosa of the White Sox was hit by a throw during the 8th inning warm-ups. Then you have Corey Seager. He blooped in the go-ahead just outside the sliding Luis Robert Jr. and Chicago. They are literally winless when it comes to making comebacks. I'm not even joking. Every single time that they've gone into the 7th inning with a deficit, they've lost that game. Until now, Andrew Vaughn with the walk-off. Whoa, the play of the year. Travis Gronkowski brought it back. He robs Vaughn of their first comeback victory after the 7th inning. That would have been a 3-run walk-off tater, but instead the Rangers, they hang on 4-3 and they sweep the doubleheader. I don't think that they're going to make the postseason, but those are 2 big W's because they're facing the White Sox. You got to win those. This next team, man, look at what the Guardians are doing to me and my mental health. Michael Massey, Vinny Pasquantino, and Bobby Witt Jr. all went yard, and they didn't hit them off a 5-starter or a rookie that just came up and was recalled from AAA. They hit them off of Tanner Bybee, the ace of the Guardians. Vinny has 97 RBIs. Bobby, he's right there with his 28th home run, giving him 95 RBIs. And there's no way that they gave Kwan a single on this next swing. Kwan, he lazily flared one to shallow left. Bobby got there, but he just kind of whiffed it. One of the rare miscues by Bobby Witt Jr. Then the Guardians made a miscue of their own after Adam Frazier stole that run back. Tim Herron got a Christmas hop, but then he kind of lollipopped the throw. It was an easy double play, and he almost threw it away, so no double play. Michael Garcia made them pay. Bo, finally some life. The Guardians have been moping for the last week, and that was followed by a Kwan single, then a Jimenez single. Even the broadcast brought up the fact that they finally looked like they had some energy. The singles would not stop. Josh Naylor, Will Brennan, Jhonkensy Noel, they were all able to find some grass, and the Guardians actually won this game with maybe hitting 1 ball hard the entire game. Clase, he has 39 saves with a 0.58 ERA. He just tied Cody Allen for the most saves by a closer in franchise's history, and also, by the way, he's the first closer ever to have 150 saves by the time they turn 26. I almost don't even want to say it out loud because I don't want to jinx it, so let me say it as I'm knocking on wood. The Guardians are back in first place by 1 game. I'm knocking on wood. So before we recap the AL East top dogs, I got to talk about a big dog, like a big dog, Yordan Alvarez. Actually, hold on a second. I hate doing this to my boy Bryce Harper, but Jose Altuve stole home because Bryce kind of forgot that there was a runner over at third base, or maybe he just had a lapse in I don't know what happened there. The Astros, they then put up a few more on RBI knocks from Jake Myers and Mauricio Dubon, but I'm going to just show your daddy how did he hit this baseball out? That ball was in the other batter's box. Okay, this second one makes a lot more sense. He scolded that ball to the Philly bullpen. By the way, the second home run was not off of Taijuan Walker, who gave up 6 runs. He now has a 5 ERA as a Philly. He's been paid $36 million to be absolutely useless, and that's one of the worst contracts in baseball right now. The Astros starting pitcher was far from useless. We call him Spencer Spaghetti, Spencer Argetti. He was far from useless. He punched out 9 Phillies before the 6th inning came to a close, and wait, he went 6 2/3 no-hit, so this Brandon Marsh fly ball is a problem. It can ruin the no-hitter. Dubon saves it, so that's 7 no-hit frames for Spencer, and now he's up by 8 runs because Chas McCormick, he's alive all of a sudden. That is a 2-run blast. He's still hitting 192 with the 56 OPS plus after bashing 22 home runs with the 130 OPS plus last season. Yordan, there's the trifecta. He's batting .311 with 28 home runs and 963 OPS, which is lowering his career OPS of 975. That doesn't make sense. Austin Hayes, he did spoil the no-hitter. Spencer, he kept on fighting, though. He wanted one more, but he's pulled, so he goes 7 2/3 with 11 strikeouts. That's the 4th double-digit strikeout performance for Spencer since the end of June. He has 86 strikeouts his last 66 innings. So the Astros, they pull an Uno reverse. They get shut out, and then they do the shutout. I'm going to say it. This is now a must-win game for the Mariners. They cannot lose this game. Luis Castillo, buddy, can you stop giving up so many home runs? I mean, he's nasty, so it's wild to see him giving up so many long balls as of late, but at least that's the only run that he gave up. Luke Raley tied the ball game up with the sac fly, and even though this wasn't an out, Dylan Carlson, sheesh, that was like on the fly. He made it all the way from left field. And is this Victor Robles again? He's earned he might be underpaid after getting that extension. He's got 14 extra base hits, 16 stolen bases, and a 131 OPS plus as a Mariner. Julio, this is equal to the Gates of Heaven opening in front of Mariners fans, a 2-run no-doubter, his 12th home run. He's had one of the more disappointing seasons of anyone this year. Randy, he was not done with making his old team rue the day. 430 feet and the bat flip. He's got 18 home runs and 20 stolen bases. He took his sweet time rounding the bases as well, and after crossing home plate, he hit that Randy celebration. The Mariners, because the Astros lost, they're still stuck at 3.5 games back. So Paul Skeens was on the bump yet again, and we'll show his start after we do a full rundown of the AL East and the AL wildcard showdowns. Baltimore, they're taking on Shohei and his dog Decoy, so they had a little golden bobblehead. Well, they had regular bobbleheads and then golden bobbleheads, which are selling for like $500 on eBay. I mean, those bobbleheads are going to be paying half of mortgages. The line was absolutely insane. Decoy had the first pitch. So Ohtani's not only a 40-40 guy, but he's a world-class dog trainer as well. Now, staying with the unicorn, just like Yordan, how are these guys this good? Ohtani reached, he just threw his barrel at the ball. There it goes for a home run. But you know who wasn't good? The Dodgers defense. They let down Walker Buehler big time. Baltimore took full advantage. They actually stole the lead after multiple errors and some dinking and dunking. Walker Buehler was pissed. He was like tossing stuff in the dugout. Now, luckily, his offense bailed him out because I was about to feel real bad for Walker Buehler. Ohtani, he singled ahead of Mookie Betts, who just lined in an RBI. Ohtani and Betts then had a double steal, but they didn't have to do that because Teoscar, he had a pimp job 3-run long ball. He has 28 home runs and 87 RBIs. Whew. Corbin Burns has been getting lit up lately. Ohtani, he got on again in the 5th. He stole his 42nd bag. He's 42 of 46 on stolen base attempts this year, so enough of the bigger bases. No, he's actually a generational base stealer. Also, by the way, Gunnar had an error that allowed a 6-run score as Michael Kopech. He's literally been Mason Miller for the Dodgers. He had 2 more strikeouts in a 1-2-3 9th inning. He has 3 saves and 19 strikeouts in 13 innings as a Dodger. Yankee fans were grateful for the Dodgers' efforts because super prospect Dylan Cruz and the Nationals, they were taking some hacks yesterday. That's Dylan's first career home run. His grandma was holding back tears. And then Rodon, he had a pitch calm malfunction, but the umpires didn't give that to him, so it turns into a balk and a free run for the Nationals. Jazz, his swing, man. Look at the way he he finishes and stares at baseballs. To me, he has a top 3 swing in baseball right now. Also, by the way, he's batting .304 with 9 home runs in 20 games as a Yankee. The Nationals, they just didn't care though. The rookies, they took over. Nazem Nunez finally got on the board with his first career RBI, and James Wood. I know that this drives Yankee fans crazy. He had an opposite field single with the shift on, and they still threw outside. Oh yeah, by the way, this Dylan Cruz kid, he's going to be insane. He's got a compact swing. He's very fast. He's got insane defense in the outfield as well. He has 3 extra base hits and a stolen base in his first 3 games. Mackenzie Gore, he's the secret sauce though. He had 6 strikeouts over 6 innings and only 1 walk. If he can limit the walks to end the season and going into 2025, and hopefully they get back Josiah Gray and Cade Cavalli and a few other guys, and the offense keeps on improving despite getting younger, the Nationals, they got something cooking, as Cal Finnegan now has 34 saves, and the Yankees, they just lost the series, but they're still 1 game up on the Orioles. The Red Sox are quite literally fighting for their lives, and maybe Gronk and Edelman have to throw out the first pitch every single day because they were the good luck charms, and I say that because Brian Bayo, he turned in his best start ever. He's been awful, stinky, terrible. He had a strong first inning with a few strikeouts, and now he's up because on-base god Jarren Duran read it perfectly off the bat of Wilyer Abreu, so Wilyer has the RBI. Chris Bassett was actually pretty good after that. He kept up with Brian Bayo. They both had 9 strikeouts, but that lone run from Chris Bassett proved to be the big difference, as Bayo, he was untouchable. That changeup to Clement ends 8 shutout frames. He has one of the best changeups in all of baseball. He only allowed 2 base hits, 1 walk with 9 strikeouts over 8 scoreless. He finally earned his paycheck for once. Tyler O'Neill, he gave Kenley Jansen a few cherries on top with a 2-run home run. He's got 24 home runs. He's a free agent, so I'm happy for him. Kenley, he now has 25 saves on the season, and that's a big W for the Red Sox. Why? Well, it's big because both the Royals and the Twins lost yesterday, and the Braves, they are coming for the Phillies. Jorge Soleri's back in mashing home runs, his 5th home run as a Brave. He's up to a 140 OPS plus for them. Why'd I say it like that? And then defensively, Jorge Soler kept it scoreless. He threw a seed to nab Manuel Margot. We'll talk more about Margot later on in the game because he's not the same guy anymore. Sale, by the way, has a 2.58 ERA, and what do you go? 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. His stuff is so gross, even at 35 years old. The Braves, they scored a bunch before Sale was pulled, but because he wasn't pulled yet, them teeing off for 4 runs actually gives him the W. Matt Olson, he doubled in Marcell Ozuna. Ramon, he's been a monster ever since he joined the Braves. And Luke Williams, he had a really nice game as well. He had 2 doubles on the day, I think. This one's a 2-run double because Manuel Margot's athleticism has completely vanished this year. Chris Sale is a whopping 15-3 on the season. The Braves have won 3 games in a row. They're now 5 games back of the Phillies, and they're heading to Philly for a 4-game series. That is must-watch TV, basically a playoff series if you want to watch early playoff baseball. The Twins are now 1-5 to start their 9-game homestand, and because of that, the Red Sox are now within 3 games of the final wildcard spot, and it's the Twins. 24 runs and 32 base hits were tallied in this next game, so please have mercy on my soul for not being able to show every single clip. Bellinger started the game off with an RBI off of Skeens, but then the Pirates erupted for 10 runs, and it started with the Brian Reynolds home run. Connor Joe, he belted a home run as well in between a bunch of singles and RBI groundouts and stuff like that. So Paul Skeens, he ended up going up 10-2 after 5 innings. Skeens was good, not great, but pretty good. He had 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, which is a great sign over 5 innings, but did allow 2 runs. And would you believe me if I said the Pirates lost this game? Christian Bethcourt morphed into prime Yan Gomes when he was back on the Indians. Like, he was really good offensively. 7 RBIs, 7, a 2-run home run in the 7th, a ringing 2-run double in the 8th, and then a go-ahead 2-run single after Dansby beat out a double play. David Bednar, he cannot be the closer for the Pirates going forward. I'm being so serious. He now has an almost 6.5 ERA after blowing another game. Then you have Ian Happ, Mike Tauchman, Seiya Suzuki. They all ripped RBI singles as well, so they put up 9 runs between the 8th and the 9th on 0 home runs. Porter Hodge, he went 2 innings with 3 strikeouts for the W, so the Cubs, they scored 41 runs over a 3-game sweep of the Pirates. 41 runs in 3 games. The Pirates are now 11 games back, and you can pretty much kiss their season goodbye. Maybe the Giants too. They're not 11 games back, but we'll talk about in a second because they put a few guys on waivers. As you can see, Milwaukee, they're having some fun in the 5th inning. Jackson Chorio, he is a legit star already, even at 20 years old. Blake Perkins, he smoked a scorching 2-run double, and then William Contreras, he nearly went to one knee for a lightning bolt 2-run blast. Freddie Peralta, he was just mean to the Giants. He shut them out completely over 6 innings. He racked up 8 strikeouts, and he did the Freddie Peralta thing of just allowing 2 base hits over 6. He's allowed 1 run over 17 innings, so He's back to being Freddie after a relatively long, rough patch of not being himself. Kind of a tip of the cap to the Giants. They rallied a bit, so the game didn't look as bad. But Devin Williams, he struck out Thairo Estrada in Thairo's final at bat as a Giant. Devin Williams now has 6 saves, and the Brewers, they're 20 games over 500. Yes, your ears are not deceiving you. You heard that correctly. Thairo Estrada had his final at bat because he just got put on waivers by the Giants, and same with the lefty cheat code twin brother of Taylor Rogers, the lefty, he's put on waivers as well, meaning anyone can claim them. They just have to pay them. That's big time. We'll talk about that. So Thairo, he regressed after having 26 doubles, 14 home runs, and a good amount of stolen bases last year. He's still just 28 years old, so there's still some gas left in the tank, in my opinion. Taylor Rogers, again, the twin brother of Tyler, he has a 2.4 ERA, a 10.5 strikeouts per 9, but he's owed $12 million next year. That's why the Giants said, we'll just get rid of him. Hopefully someone picks him up, so they have to pay him. But those are some pretty talented pieces just available for every other team in baseball. And remember, waivers work by record. So if you're a bad team, you get first dibs on these guys. So keep that in mind. Corbin Carroll had his fingerprints all over this next game versus the Mets. He line went back to Sevy, who stayed in the game, and maybe he shouldn't have, because Jock Peterson, you could take your time, my guy. Sheesh, 21 home runs and a 162 OPS plus. Corbin, he went even further, 440 feet on a 16th home run, and he was not done. He had his biggest moment of the season later in the 8th inning because, I mean, it was big time because the Mets actually stormed back. Harrison Bader, he ripped a 2-run home run to tie it after the Mets put up 2, so it was a 4-run 5th inning. And Starling Marte, he went full El Mago to avoid a tag. Lourdes, he nailed Marte at home. He was out by 3 or 4 feet, but the rookie catcher Adrian Del Castillo just flat out missed the tag, so now it's 5-4. Edwin Diaz, he was deployed for a 4-out save. He walked a guy, and then Corbin stepped in with the bases full. He cleared everything, the bases, the wall. He had 3 home runs in his first 92 games this year. He has 14 his last 37 games, and OPS over 1,000. The Diamondbacks are 27-9 since the All-Star break. The A's have been playing some insane baseball as well since the 1st of July, and they broke out for another home run derby. Lawrence Butler is turning into an actual problem. He's batting over 300 with 14 home runs and a near 1,000 OPS since the start of July. Seth Brown, he's heating up as well. He and Jake Berger kind of remind me of each other, and they both had incredibly slow starts, and they've both been crushing baseballs as of late. Brent Rooker, is that a second decker? Yep, 31 home runs is a new career high. He has a 163 OPS plus. How is he not an all-star? I'm still kind of upset about that. Even as a Guardians fan, I think that Rooker deserved it over David Fry. So the A's, they were up 5 after 7 because Osvaldo Bido was shredding, but Cincy, they fought back. Bido's bullpen did not have his back at all. You had 2 doubles from Stevenson and Espinal. They make it 5-2. Ty France, he blooped in their 3rd run. And now the Reds are winning. Will Benson, he needed this in the worst way. That's his 13th home run, which is cool, but he's batting 193 and basically leading the world in strikeouts. Seth Brown, he snatched the lead back with his 2nd home run of the day, a 3-run dead center bomb as Mason Miller struck out 2 for his 23rd save. I told you, Will Benson has been striking out a bunch. The A's have been a top 4 team in baseball since July 1st. That's a lot of games. The Tigers cannot stop winning, and the Angels can't stop losing. I'm going to spare Halo fans from a lengthy highlight recap. Okay, here we go. Spencer Torkelson, his recent demotion, I think, saved his career. Knocking on wood, I'm not going to be the guy who jinxed him, but he looks as locked in as ever. That's his 3rd home run since being recalled. He has 8 RBIs in 11 games. We had a fun play in the 3rd because Kente caught the comebacker, threw it to first base, but that runner safe, but then they threw to second because Nico Cavadas was halfway home, so they did get the double play regardless. Scary Gary, he threw his bat at the ball. It worked out for an RBI. Now, Detroit gave the I wrote LA, so I'm thinking Dodgers, the Angels. Why are they called the LA Angels? I'm going to get mad again. But the Angels had their biggest moment of the night after an error. Mickey Moniak tagged Kenta for a 2-run home run halfway up the bleachers. It's just that Jason Foley wrapped it up for 2 strikeouts in his 19th save. The Tigers have won 6 in a row. The Angels have lost 7 in a row. But by the way, the Tigers, they're now just 4.5 games back of the wild card spot. They're catching up to the Red Sox. Marlins fans thought maybe they were going to take this one. Derek Hill, he popped off for a leadoff home run, but the Rockies, they had other ideas in mind. My friend Nolan Jones bounced one through the infield, and Max Meyer, he threw a ball into center field later in the 3rd to allow a free run. That's a 2-base error because the rookie Drew Romo, he can kind of fly for a catcher. Here's another rookie, Griffin Conine. He can rake. That's his first RBI of his young career. Aaron Shunky helped out with Kyle Freeland. He ended the jam, and then he crushed his first career home run. That's a home run in every single ballpark. I don't want to talk about thin air or Coors Field effect, anything like that. Nolan Jones, he grabbed another RBI on his second base hit. That's big. And from there, the Marlins, they fully unplugged their brains from the socket. There's another error that allowed two to score. Nojo, he flew around from second to bring home that second run. More Nolan Jones scoring action. He scores easy after Griffin Conine just missed a web gem. Zeke Tovar instead gets a 2-run double. I think he's got 39 doubles, 21 home runs. Kid's a monster. Well, everyone, that does it for today's recap. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. If you have not used code Fuzzy on SeatGeek or Underdog Fantasy, you're missing out on free stuff. Have a great day and enjoy the web gems.
Hot shot out to third, picked on the backhand by Machado to second for one, on to first for two.
On a line, Julio charges, slides, tumbles in. Ground ball to the middle. A rangy play by Rafael to spin the throws.
To left field, and Profar running in, diving forward to make.
Espinal on the ground, and Zach Geloff gets over there. He turns and makes.
Rays, but hasn't given up anything else. Arenado dives, throws to first, stretch out and not in.
For Smith. High chopper over the mound. This will be Henderson's ball. Nice throw.
Ground ball back up the middle, and Bogarts to the backhand. The throw is going to be dug out. Nicely.